Well, welcome back everyone. Last time we remembered Paul's momentous confrontation with the Jewish sorcerer in Cyprus, as a result of which the Roman proconsul on the island believed in the Lord. In fact, it was probably he who suggested to Paul the next strategic location in which he should preach. And that was the Roman colony of Antioch in Pisidia, situated on the mainland of what is present-day Turkey.
And so Paul and his party left Paphos and set sail for Perga on the mainland. Here John Mark left them to return home to Jerusalem. So Paul and Barnabas trekked on alone up the steep and tortuous path to the great Roman colony of Antioch in Pisidia. And we've just arrived ourselves, eager to explore. By the time Paul and Barnabas arrived here, it had been a Roman colony for about 50 years. It was established by Augustus to bring Roman law and order to the bandit-infested highlands of southern Galatia. The setting's certainly spectacular. On its hill, overlooking the plain and backed by the immense pinnacles of the Sultan Dar. The snow sometimes stays on its summits until midsummer. The city was the military capital of the Roman province of Galatia. Paul must have looked at the Roman inscriptions on the public buildings and statues with the feeling that he was nearer to Rome than he'd ever been before. He'd preached in Syria, in Cilicia and in Cyprus, but he hadn't yet done so in a Roman colony. The site's pretty extensive even today, a good indication of just how significant the city was. Paul must have immediately grasped its significance. If trade could radiate from here in all directions, so could the gospel. These ancient foundations beneath a Byzantine church may be those of the 1st century synagogue. If so, this is the site where Paul and Barnabas were first welcomed by the Jews. In fact, Paul's preaching here was so powerful that the next week almost the whole city came to hear him. So great was the response that the Orthodox Jews stirred up persecution against Paul and Barnabas. So somewhere right here, Paul was to make one of his most important pronouncements. We had to speak the word of God to you first, but since you reject it, we now turn to the Gentiles. In that announcement, Paul and Barnabas gave this remote hill town a position among those places in which the major events of Christianity occurred. It flung wide the door of the faith to the whole world.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed following these early exploits of Paul the great apostle. The man who, as the Lord said, is my chosen instrument to carry my name before the Gentiles and their kings and before the people of Israel. In my next series, we'll be setting off with Paul once again, this time on his second missionary journey. We'll find him proclaiming the good news about Jesus in Greece, and we'll be following his adventures in its great cities, in Philippi, Thessalonica, Berea, Athens and Corinth, and finally back to Jerusalem itself. So I do hope you can join me for that. God bless you all.